Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have part 2 of an evidentiary hearing for grandparent visitation rights after Dad and the Stepmom abruptly stopped the granddaughter's regular visitation with her maternal grandparents after Mom was sent to prison for 6 years. The grandparents claim that they've had a relationship with the child since birth and that they saw the child regularly, including the first year that Mom was in prison. They claim that it's the stepmother, who's no stranger to the legal system herself, who was the one who began causing issues between them, and they fear that she's the one who's been controlling Dad's actions. They say that Dad has not only made unilateral parenting decisions despite there being joint legal custody, but he has also effectively cut Mom from having contact with the child too, because Dad and Stepmom refused to allow the child to talk to Mom directly, so she used to do that during her parents' visitation time. What does the stepmom have to say for herself? Let's find out.
Well, again, good afternoon. Welcome back. Mr. Bartel, your next witness.
Yes, I would call Carlina Toledo.
Okay, Ms. Toledo, we're going to have you testify. So if you would raise your right hand, we'll have you sworn in and then we'll proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bartel, when you're ready.
All right, thank you. Can you state your name for the record, spelling your last?
Yes, Toledo, Toledo, Carlina.
And do you know Chloe?
Yes, I do.
And how do you know her?
She's my grandbaby.
Okay. And so are you the mother of Taylor Morgan?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And how long have you known or been involved in Chloe's life?
Since she was born.
And was there a time period where she lived with you?
Yes.
Okay. I guess let me ask, so was there more than one time period where she lived with you?
Yes.
Okay. I guess tell me the first time she lived with you.
While she was pregnant, her and Ori lived with us.
When you say she, you mean Taylor?
Yes, Taylor and Ori lived with us while she was pregnant. And then till about 8 or 9 months after Chloe was born, they moved out, got their own little place for about 19 months. And then she moved back in my home again.
Okay. So that first period, you said about 8 or 9 months. Could you describe to the court your involvement in taking care of Chloe?
I would sometimes when Chloe got up in the middle of the night I would feed her so they could sleep in. I would play with her when they wanted to go out for their date nights or whatever. I would watch her.
And I guess, would you purchase items for your daughter or your granddaughter
Yes, I
during
do.
that time period? Okay. And what would you all purchase?
We helped her with food or clothes or toys.
And obviously the housing.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And I guess walk me through what kind of activities you did with Chloe at that time period. I understand she was really young, but what kind of activities would you do with her?
As far as like playing, like
Well, if there was anything, did you read stories to her?
yeah, well, she was still real little, but yes, read stories. We played with her and I rocked her to
Okay.
sleep. I did a lot with her.
Okay. Did you give her any baths?
Yes, gave her baths. Yep.
And if she was sick at any time, would you help out when she was sick?
Yes.
And so did that continue on once she moved out? Like Taylor, Ori, and Chloe moved out of your house? Did you continue to go over to Ori and Taylor's place to help out?
Yes, I'd go over there to see her and play with Chloe, and I'd help her do her laundry, and we'd go to lunch. We'd go to Red Lobster for lunch. Me and Chloe and my mom and Taylor. Um Jamie, I sometimes Jamie would go there and check up on them and see what they were up to, and because we really didn't want them to move out. So we kind of went over there a lot to see what they were doing and to see Chloe.
Did there come times when you were actually keeping Chloe overnight?
Oh, yeah, of course.
During that time period, is what I mean when they had moved out. So was it quite frequent that you would watch Chloe overnight?
Yeah, on the weekends.
Okay. Almost on a weekly basis?
Yes, every week.
And that was because Ori and Taylor would go out?
Yeah, and go do things, or, if they wanted to go out or whatever, we were always there to help and watch her. I would, even if I had plans, I would cancel plans for them to go. I'd watch her. I'd stop my plans to be with her.
Yeah. And why would you do that?
Because I love her. She comes first.
And did you have a close bond with Chloe at that time?
Yes, I am. Yep.
And I guess at that new stage, were you playing more with Chloe? Was she walking around?
Yes.
Okay. And if you could describe the additional activities you would do with Chloe at that particular juncture?
She's got a little playground out back of my house that we'd go play, and she has a little doll house, has a doorbell, like a real house outside. We'd go out there and play, and take her to Chuck
So
E.
when you would
Cheese.
when you would watch Chloe during that time period, would you do the laundry for her?
Yes, I'd help them do laundry. Yep.
Okay. And you would cook for her and clean for her?
Yeah, I always cook for everybody. When I cook for the whole house.
Okay. And would you clean up after Chloe as well, or at least help clean up after Chloe?
Yes. I
At
helped
times,
clean up. Yes.
and at times, did you help with her bathing?
Yes.
And did you continue to purchase things such as clothing and the necessities for her?
Yes.
Now, I guess I want to focus on the next stage. There came a point when Ori and Taylor split up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you recall approximately when that was?
Um, it was about Chloe was probably 1.5, maybe. So I can't recall exactly.
Okay. So about 4 years ago or so,
Yes,
or 5 years ago, I mean.
correct.
Okay. And so did Taylor move back in with you?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point, what was the custodial arrangement, the parenting time between Ori and Taylor?
They had a week on, a week off.
Okay. And so you would see Chloe during that time period every other week,
Yeah, for a whole week straight.
and you would see her every day?
every day.
Okay, and how long did that go on, approximately?
Until I think it was 2 years later when he tried to get full custody, and then she had to go to every other weekend and every Wednesday.
Okay, so that continued though on for a couple of years where you were seeing her every single day, every other weekend.
Yes, every other, yes.
And so can you describe what kind of bond you had formed with Chloe at that time?
A very special bond.
Okay.
I was to the point where I couldn't even go to, there's 4 or 5 people at my house, and I'd go to the bathroom, and she had to follow me and watch me and sit with me until I got done.
So she would follow you around the whole house?
Yeah, if I left to go cook, she would leave Papa and everybody and have to watch me cook.
Did she ever approach you if she ever had an issue or a problem?
Yeah, like if she felt like she got hurt or something playing outside, or like she thought she hurt her finger or something and she was hurt, she'd always come to me before anybody that was there to comfort her.
Okay. And you would be cooking still at that time for her?
Yes,
And would you help out again with bathing and putting her to bed?
yes,
Would you continue reading stories to her?
yes.
And that all of that continued up until Mr. Cronkite at the end of November 2023 decided that you should not see Chloe anymore.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to try to expedite this a little bit. So when I say these things or ask you about these things, I'm going to include coming up until 2023. Okay.
Okay.
Would she openly show signs of affection to you?
Yeah, when she would walk in the door, she would ask me, she'd say, Nana, right when she'd come over,
Objection,
Nana.
hearsay.
Sustained. Ms. Toledo, you can't say what the child says.
Oh, okay.
You can say what happened and what you observed,
Okay.
but not what somebody said.
Okay, she would walk in the door and we would just, she wanted love. She wanted me to lay down and love her.
Okay. And would you do that?
Yes,
Okay. And was that the only time she wanted or showed signs of affection to you?
no, all the time.
In which ways would she show it?
She just like would always want to tell me, well, she'll just be playing or on her iPad and she'll just stop and be like, Nana. And I'll be like, what?
Oh.
She said, I love you.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained. I'll strike the answer.
Um, how would I say it?
I mean, was she always physical with you? Like always touching
Yes.
you, hugging you?
Yes, always on me, like, always had to be on me or real clingy. She was very clingy.
And when she was sick, would you help out when she was sick?
Yes,
And was she involved in any extracurricular activities up until the time that you did not see her anymore?
I found out that she was put in dance.
Was that while you were still seeing her or after?
After. While I was
Okay.
seeing her, he wanted her to be a dirt bike rider. So he had asked us to provide for her gear and all her protection and bikes and stuff. So we bought everything he wanted so she could be a dirt bike rider.
So when you say he, you mean Ori Cronkite?
That's correct.
Okay, so he wanted her in certain activities such as the dirt biking, and you provided all the financial support for that.
Correct.
Um, any other activities that you can think of that she was involved with up until the time that you have not seen her recently?
No.
Would you help her with any educational stuff whatsoever, whether it be
Yeah,
reading, writing, or anything?
Yeah, we would always buy books that had the letters and numbers. So she could draw over it and learn how to do her numbers. And she would always she'd sit at our desk and she wanted me to, she'd say, "How do you spell Papa?"
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
I did, um, I
What did she want you to do?
um, to like write and show her how to spell our names. She wanted me to teach her how to spell Papa, wanted me to teach her how to spell Jasmine, how to spell Tyler, how to spell Granny. She wanted, so we would teach her and we would tell her the letters and she would write them down on a notebook. We just,
And those
we did all kinds of,
and the names of those people, are those family members?
yes, that live in my home.
Okay. And so she would see those people on a regular basis?
Correct.
Okay. And just generally, there's been some mention of providing financially. Have you routinely provided financial help for the support of Chloe?
Yes.
Okay. And would that include any payments to Mr. Cronkite or his wife?
We would help them with clothing. I bought her son and Chloe's school pictures. Um, I tried to help her and do whatever I could, whatever they asked us to do, we tried to help and provide for her.
And where do you work right now?
I work at Arbor Village Salon and Suites.
Okay, and how long you been working
I've been there 3 years now.
there? Okay. And do you have the ability to, I guess, adjust your working schedule or hours to help with Chloe?
Yes, I do.
And did you do that in the past?
Yeah, I took her to work with me sometimes.
And was that because were there times that Mr. Cronkite or his wife wanted you to take Chloe that you would have to change your hours at work to be able to take
Yes,
Chloe?
yes.
Okay. And you were willing to do that, obviously?
Oh, anything they asked, we would do for them.
Would you ever take or help take Chloe to her medical appointments?
I've been to a couple dentist appointments. I took her, but that was during when my daughter had um part custody. I took her to the hospital when Kelsey got in a car accident. She wanted me, so, and I didn't want my daughter to go because I didn't want problems because she was already upset that Chloe had been in the car. So I took her to the hospital, but that's about it, I think.
Okay. So when Chloe had to go back home, when it was week on, week off, were there issues trying to get her to go home?
Yes.
Can you describe those to the court?
She'd be on the floor and cry and ask Papa to call her dad to see if she could just
Objection,
stay
hearsay.
one more
Just
night.
saying. Mr. Lito,
Oh,
just mention
sorry.
again, you can't say what she said. You can say what you observed, what you saw, but not what the child said.
Okay. She would cry, be upset that she had to leave.
Okay. Did she seem depressed that she had to leave?
Yes.
Okay. And was that pretty routine, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. And did that continue up until November 23 when Mr. Cronkite decided to not let you see Chloe anymore?
Yes.
So during that time period, she would still not want to go home and would be sad and depressed.
Correct.
Okay. During that time period leading up to, let's say that year and a half or so leading up to November 23, how was Chloe when she would actually be dropped off at your place?
She was real like real tight, like real quiet, kind of weird. I don't know, it was weird. Like she was just real stiff and I can't explain it. I don't know how to explain it. Explain it.
But then when she was with you, would she open up?
Yeah, as soon as she pulled out of the driveway, she would look out the window and wait for her to pull out the driveway and would just be like let loose, like she was free. I don't know. She was
When you-
happy.
When
She was
you
happy.
say when you say that she pulled out of the driveway, who are you referring to?
Kelsey Cronkite.
Okay, so would Kelsey be the one that would routinely drop her off at your house?
Yeah, she's the one I always dealt with. I've never dealt with Ori ever.
Okay. Would Ori pick up Chloe much?
Barely. Maybe 10% of the time.
And so would it be Kelsey that would usually pick her up then?
Yes.
Okay. And so you, just so I'm clear, you're saying Chloe would look at the window and watch Kelsey leave, and then she would get all happy after that?
Correct.
Okay. And that was pretty routine during the time period that she would drop her off and pick her up?
Yes.
Okay. And when she had to go back home, even up until 23, how would she act?
The same. It's always been the same.
Okay.
She don't want to leave. She gets upset and gets depressed.
So, let me ask you, have you ever been physical with your own children?
No, never.
Okay. Do you have any history of physical, emotional, or sexual abuse or neglect of any child of yours?
No, never.
Do you want to still encourage a close relationship between Chloe and Ori despite all of this?
Well, of course, he's the father of my granddaughter.
How do you feel towards Ori right now?
I'm hurt, but I love him.
Do you wish this could all be worked out?
Of course.
And why do you say that?
Because the little girl's involved here. I mean, we gotta all get along.
Have you at any time ever told Chloe that Ori Cronkite is not her father?
Absolutely not. Never. I don't know where that came from.
Have you ever taken Chloe to some random house on a Wednesday and for her to see her quote unquote true father, someone other than Ori Cronkite?
Absolutely not.
Have you ever been physical with Chloe?
No.
Have you ever punished her?
No, she's a little kid. There's nothing that she could do to be punished. I mean, she's a little kid. She's still learning.
Do you have any mental or physical health issues?
No.
Do you believe that you're a morally fit grandparent?
Yes, I do.
Would you take Chloe to church or anything like that?
Yes.
And what church?
Christ Alive on the corner of McAllister and Bellevue Road.
Okay. And how long did you take her there?
She's been there probably 10 times. You know, we had her not baptized, but we had her given to God. We got a certificate for her. We had her blessed by the pastor.
So did she enjoy going to church the best you could tell?
Oh yeah, she loved it. She made me all kinds of little ornaments downstairs in the basement in the kids' class. I still have them all.
So when Chloe was with you, did you view your role as partly like a parent role?
Yeah,
Could you describe why you say that?
because she was with us all the time. She lived with we had her all that a whole week. Week on, week off. She was with us 24/7 for that whole week in our home with my daughter. We got a bond. That's what happened.
And you performed a lot of the roles that a mother would as well over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
Did there come any times years ago in which Mr. Cronkite or his wife would withhold Chloe from you?
Yes.
Okay, can you describe the previous times? I'm talking about prior to November of 23.
Yeah, that was about 2.5 years ago, I think it was, that they took her from us for 7 months. They got mad at me because I was accused of every time she was at my house, I was accused of something every time. It was either I got in trouble for allowing her to talk to her mom, or I got in trouble for taking her shopping, or talking about her mother all weekend. And I lost her for 7 months.
Did you know, remember, probably, you said that was about 2.5 years ago?
Yes.
Okay. Or 7 months leading up to 2.5 years ago, or they took her away 2.5 years?
Yeah, they took her from us 2.5 years ago. We
Okay.
got in trouble for something we did, or they got mad about. So they took her from us, so we didn't see her for 7 months.
Was there any other time that you recall in the last 4 or 5+ years that they did that?
No, just
Okay.
not till now. I haven't seen her in almost 10 months.
Okay. And what led to, I guess, the repairing of that relationship, or that you got to see Chloe again?
Kelsey came to my house and had Chloe with her, and she wanted to let me know that it was important that Ori didn't know she was at my house, but that she couldn't take it anymore, that Chloe missed us, and that it was important that we remained in Chloe's life for her mental health. So then we got to start seeing her again.
Okay. And was that then on a routine basis that you got to see, or help us understand how that came about then? How often you saw her?
He started working for Jamie. So
And when you say he, you mean Ori?
yes, Ori Cronkite started working for Jamie Morgan right after that. So we all became really close. So ever since then, the past 2.5 years, we've all been like really close. Like they were Jamie and him were like best friends. We treated him like he was our son.
Did Ori ever indicate to you how much he appreciated you and Jamie taking care of Chloe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you had mentioned communication. Part of the breakdown at that time was you were allowing communication with Taylor as she was incarcerated at that time. Is that correct?
Yes. I got in trouble for that.
Okay. So when she was incarcerated at that time, you facilitated communication between Chloe and Taylor at that time?
Correct.
Okay. And how long was Taylor incarcerated at that time?
I can't recall, Aaron.
Okay. And I guess as of most recent, so the time period leading up to November of 2023. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I want to focus on that now. When did your, I guess, time period, the month and year where you reconnected with Chloe until November 23?
Oh, so 22? It was, you got me remember, Jamie. 22, was it 21? When did you start working? I can't remember. 22. It was 21. It was like maybe April or before April, because we got to go to her birthday. So it was probably in March of 21.
Okay, so about March 2021 until November 2023 was that period of time, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so during that time period, did you facilitate communication between Chloe and her mother?
Yes,
There was testimony that Taylor had gone into, let me rephrase that she had gone into jail in approximately June of 2022. So from June of 2022 until November 2023, did you on a regular basis facilitate communication between Chloe and her mother?
yes,
And how did that communication go? I mean, was Chloe excited about that?
yeah, of course.
Okay. Could you describe how those conversations went without actually speaking what was said?
She was happy.
Okay.
Um, but she wasn't depressed afterwards either. It wasn't, she was fine. I mean,
Okay. So I want to go to November of 2023. Were you confronted by Kelsey, uh, and or Ori regarding,
yes,
regarding Chloe?
yes.
And I guess describe that to the court.
Well, I had her from Friday to Sunday, and she went home, and I received a text message Monday accusing me and Jamie of talking about my daughter all weekend in the text messages. And I said no. And then I was told, so your granddaughter is lying, huh? And I said, I'm not gonna say she's lying. I'm not going here with you again today, because every time I had her, it was always I did something wrong. And that's what we got. She got upset with me because she accused me of talking about my daughter all weekend, and that Chloe went
I'm
home
gonna
and I made
object,
her
Your Honor.
depressed.
I believe I heard Miss Carlina say she was saying something, and if it's she, if it's Kelsey, then it's hearsay. If it's Ari, then I think it might be admissible.
Your Honor, it doesn't go to actually to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It actually goes to what actually occurred here and how the breakdown of the relationship as to here. So that's my position.
Well, it goes to the truth of that, so it goes to the truth of something. So I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay. So what was your general understanding as to why you couldn't see your granddaughter anymore?
Because I talked about my daughter and I made her depressed.
Okay. Did you ever, did Kelsey ever confront you about putting pictures up in Chloe's bedroom? Or that there was pictures of Taylor
Yes,
up in Chloe's bedroom?
yes.
Okay. And what did she say to you?
How it was bullcrap that I just keep putting pictures up when I know that she don't like it because it's making my granddaughter depressed. And I said, I didn't put them pictures up. I said, I made Chloe a baby book a year and a half, 2 years ago, and she loves that baby book. Well, she got in the baby book and took some pictures out and put them on her dresser. And I got in trouble for that because I'm supposedly making Chloe depressed.
So were you threatened that you wouldn't be seeing Chloe if you didn't take those pictures down?
Correct.
And did you oblige and take those pictures down then?
Oh, I sure did. I'll do anything just not to lose her. Whatever
Did you?
they told me, I did. They told me I wasn't allowed to go to, it wasn't Ori. Kelsey told me, Ori never ever once came to me and told me I wasn't allowed to do anything. It was always her. He never asked me to stop anything ever.
So let me ask you this. So it was always Kelsey. Was she acting as the parent? Was that your impression?
Objection,
Correct.
speculation.
Well, no, it's just her impression.
Well, I guess you can make an impression insofar as she observed that, but I don't think you can say a generalized statement though, but if you can qualify it.
Sure. So would Kelsey come to you and dictate a lot of things like a parent would with their own child as to what you can and cannot do with regards to Chloe?
Yes, it was her, never him.
Okay. Would Kelsey have the parameters of everything that you could or could not do, like a parent would do with their own child?
Correct.
Okay. And it was almost never that Ori was coming to you as the father to tell you all these things.
No, and I seen him every morning before work. Every morning, he never told me nothing ever. He never asked me, Carlina, can you please stop doing this? Can you please stop? Nothing ever, not once ever. They told me to stop. She told me to stop, take her to the Chuck E. Cheese. And I
Objection.
stopped.
What's the objection, Ms. Reed?
Hearsay, because she's saying she again.
Well, I think we can all understand that she's referring about Miss Conkright, not Chloe.
So
I mean,
Carlina,
she'd already testified to that anyway, so I'm going to overrule the objection.
Carlina,
I
did there
quit taking Chloe.
No, Carlina, I need to ask the question.
Okay.
So Carlina, I want to back up. Was there a time that you had taken Chloe to the hospital in March of 2022?
Yes.
And can you describe the circumstances surrounding that time?
She had been in a car accident.
Okay. And so did you actually go to the actual place of the car accident?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you take Chloe?
Yes, we did.
And where did you take her?
We took her to the hospital, Kalamazoo.
And who's we?
Me and Jamie, her grandfather.
And did she have injuries?
Yes.
And could you describe those injuries?
She had lacerations to the right side of her neck where all the arteries were, so they were concerned. And she had abdominal bleeding coming out of her rear. And she had her hips were black and blue.
And did she have to spend the night at the hospital?
No.
So after she was at the hospital, was she put on any medication?
No.
So did Kelsey try to drop off Chloe earlier prior to that accident
Yes.
at your house? Okay. And
her husband was there working on his truck before they were leaving to Florida.
Okay. And so Ori was at your house too?
Yes,
And Kelsey would not leave Chloe with you at 5:30? Was that approximately 5:30?
yes,
Okay. And just for clarity, so you said Ori was at your house working on a truck.
yes.
Okay. And how long had he been there that day?
Um, Probably about 2, 3 hours.
To to your was he working with your husband on the truck?
No, he was working with one of his buddies that knows how to work on cars.
And when Kelsey came, do you know if she ever went to talk to Ori?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And when you took Chloe to the hospital, was she clinging to you or wanting you?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you at any point in front of Chloe got into an argument with Ori or Kelsey?
No.
Do you think it would be appropriate to have those conversations in front of Chloe?
No.
And why is that?
She's a little girl. She don't need to be put in the middle and hear all that stuff.
She doesn't need to see hostility between anyone.
Exactly.
How often, when Taylor was incarcerated, how often would you have Chloe?
Well, I see Chloe more than I ever did when Taylor was out. Because when Taylor was out, I only seen her every other weekend and every Wednesday. And since Ori's been working for us the past 2.5 years, we were so close. We seen her on a daily, like a lot. Even like after the guys would get done working, we'd go over to their house and Jamie and him would hang out and I would go in Chloe's bedroom and play. Sometimes I'd put her to bed. I mean, we had a very close relationship with them. So we were seeing Chloe way more than we ever did when my daughter was home.
And so would she spend a number of nights over at your house on a routine basis?
Yes. Before
And
she
could you,
started school. Yeah, before she started school, I had her, they would let me get her on Wednesday and she got to stay the night. She would stay the night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and she'd go home Friday. And then periodically, whenever they wanted help or needed help or wanted, because we were close, they just call me on the weekend or if they wanted to go do something, I'd take her for the whole weekend. And then after she started school, I was allowed to get her. She was letting me pick up Chloe every Wednesday off the bus at their home. And plus, they were letting us take her on the weekends for the whole weekend sometimes. Like we were close. They let me have her more then than I've ever had her when my daughter was home.
and during that time period, did Chloe show love and affection towards you?
Yes.
And was she happy to be with you?
Very happy. I sometimes felt like when there's people in the house and she's got to leave or stops playing to follow me to see what I'm doing, like she felt I was going to leave her or something. It was just weird.
And you were providing food, housing, toys, medical, and furniture for her?
Everything, whatever we could do to help them, we did it. And if I couldn't do it, I was at work, I'd call my mom and I'd give my mom the money and she'd go buy it and take it to their house. And then there was a couple times I got out of work and then I went over there and visited with them and I laid with her and chilled with her at their house. Like we were really close.
I have no further questions here.
Okay. Any cross-examination, Miss Reed?
Briefly, Your Honor. Miss Toledo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, ma'am.
Did you have a criminal charge last year for retail fraud and shoplifting in Emmett Township?
No, I did not.
So you were not charged. Your testimony, listen to my question very carefully. You were not charged with retail fraud and shoplifting in case 2023 C234198-OM.
No, I was not.
And so you're saying you never took a plea agreement to disturbing the peace and you didn't plead no contest to that.
No, I did not.
Do you use Facebook?
I did till about 6 months ago.
Do you recall posting on Facebook, which looks like to be a comment under one of your pictures, that in reference to not seeing Chloe, I know sick people putting us through all of this, all the money spent trying to keep her away from us is disgusting.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're referencing Ari and Kelsey in that post?
That it's sick, yes.
And did you also post on Facebook, he don't care about her or he wouldn't have kept her from us? She got her mom's love
Exactly.
through, let me finish, thank you. She got her mom's love through us. He ripped it all away from, I'm sorry. She got her mom's love through me. He ripped it all away from her. Wonder what they're telling the poor girl. We don't want her. We don't live here. They're the ones mentally destroying her.
Exactly, correct. That's correct.
And then you also posted, ripped it all away from her again for the second time, so sick, and to have the balls to say she don't even want us is even sicker.
Sicker, correct.
And you also posted, haven't given her to me. He isn't listening to the judge, now taking us to the Supreme Court. Can you believe this kid? He's sick. You have to hire an appellate attorney to go through the lawyer Supreme Court. He is disgusting.
Now you're talking about one post because you're acting like
Yes.
I posted 10 different posts. That was
These
one
are multiple, these are 4 different posts.
right. People are commenting. That was one post, not 6 or 7.
But you're calling him disgusting.
Correct. That's sick. It's disgusting. Correct. It is.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Bartel?
Just briefly, Ms. Toledo, are you saying that you had just posted one of those and other people were commenting? Or
Correct.
what is your stance on that?
Yeah, that was one. She was making me feel like I had 6 different. I kept putting stuff and putting stuff. That was one post, and people were commenting on it.
Okay.
So it's
And let me ask you, do you have your Facebook anymore?
no.
And why did you get rid of it?
because I couldn't take the comments and the things that their family were saying. And I didn't want to see it anymore.
And do you realize or agree now in retrospect that it's not good to post anything online?
Yes, I do. That's why I got rid of it.
And you agree that that's just not conducive or helpful for this whole situation?
Correct. I understand.
And you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
I guess I do want you to say one thing. What type of grandparenting time are you seeking? If the court is willing to give you grandparenting time. Or,
Exactly what the judge gave my daughter and me the last time, every other weekend, every Wednesday, or I just want to see my granddaughter. I don't care. Whatever.
you just want the contact with your granddaughter?
Yes.
May it please the court.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Ms. Reed?
Briefly, Miss Toledo, who's there with you? I saw someone peek in.
My husband?
Is there anyone else there with you?
No.
Okay, no further questions.
Okay, thank you. That concludes your testimony, Ms. Toledo. Mr. Bartel, next witness.
I would call Jamie Morgan.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, I'll have you raise your right hand. We'll have you sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bartel.
Yes, can you state your name, spelling your last for the record?
J.B. Morgan, Morgan.
Do you know Chloe Cronkite?
Yes, sir.
And how do you know her?
She's my granddaughter.
Okay, and so Taylor Morgan is your daughter,
Yes.
and Carlina Toledo is your wife?
Well, we're not married, but yes, we've been together 33 years.
Okay, you've been together for 33 years.
Yes.
And do you know Ori Cronkite?
Yes.
And how do you know him?
Well, it's Chloe's father.
Okay. Well, let me start off, I guess, how was your relationship originally with Ori?
Beautiful. It was great.
And so I'm talking about are you talking about when your daughter started dating him?
Yeah, we've always had a great relationship up till the last till November. Always had a great relationship. Only one other time we had a little problem when he kept Chloe from us for 6 or 7 months in the past. But other than that, we've always had a great relationship.
Okay. And you had described at any point did he work for you?
Yes.
Okay. More than one time?
Yes, 2 times.
And what is your business?
Concrete business. We pour concrete, build pole barns, concrete construction business.
Okay. And what kind of work would Mr. Cronkite do for you?
He was a concrete finisher.
And I guess, do you still, do you love Ori like a son of yours?
Yes. Yeah, I still care about Ori.
Yeah.
Oh, I always will.
Have you tried to reach out to him recently?
A couple months ago, I tried reaching out to him. Yes, just
Okay.
try to resolve everything, but he wouldn't respond.
I want to go back in time with regards to Chloe. Um, did she live with you at various times?
Yes.
And can you describe the first time that she lived with you?
The first time she lived with us, she was a newborn baby, till she was like 8 months old or so. Her and Ori and Taylor all lived at our house.
Okay. And did you help care for Chloe at that time?
Yes.
Can you describe to the court what you did to care for Chloe?
Well, I mean, I just take care of her, whatever she needed, we'd help her out. I mean, back then she was so small, so her mom take care of her and Carlina would do most of it, but I just do, basic grandpa roles.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you provide financially for Chloe during that
Yes.
time?
Yes.
What would you pay for?
We would buy whatever, clothing, any kind of, we'd help them out with food. Uh, just, basic necessities.
And so you said that was so she's about 8 months old or so?
Yeah. Then they moved out.
Okay. Where did they move to?
They got a house in Urbandale.
Was that a house purchased by you and Carlina?
No, I didn't purchase the house. I believe their parents purchased the house, but we just went in on it with them and helped them renovate it. And I paid for like all the stuff to renovate it, the carpet, painting, all the tile floors, stuff like that.
Do you
But
know
no,
approximately? Oh, go ahead.
I said I believe their parents bought it for them. I'm not sure 100%.
Do you know approximately how much money you put into that house?
Yes, 5,000. As soon as they moved in, I put 5,000 into the house for them. For all
And
new
did you-
carpet for the whole house.
And did you do personal work yourself on the house?
Yes. Ori and myself laid the kitchen floor and the dining room tile floor.
Anything else you did for the house?
That's about it. We'd help them out, doing yard work every now and then, but I helped them haul some stuff, clean the yard up a couple of times. That was about it.
So how often would you see Chloe during that time period?
Oh, quite often. Yeah, almost every day.
Okay.
Back then, yeah, we'd see him one way or another every day.
And would you guys get together a lot as a family for barbecues and such?
Yes. Yeah, their house and our house also.
And how often would that occur?
Oh, at least once a week we'd have dinner together, cook out or something, on weekends. Yeah, quite often. Back then when they were living together still.
And how long did they approximately live together?
So Chloe is about a year and a half. Or yeah, right after her first birthday, a couple months later, they like dissolved. So Chloe's probably 15, 16 months, somewhere in there. Just got back then, it's been a while, but yeah. I remember everything fell apart after her first birthday.
And what did you do with Chloe, I guess, during that period of time they lived in Urbandale? I mean, can you describe to the court your interaction with Chloe and what you did for her?
We play around at the house and play with her little toys and just interact, like a grandfather. I enjoyed spending time with her. She was still little, but we couldn't do a whole lot. But yeah, we'd play around and.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you ever change the diapers or feed or
No,
baby
I never
birth?
did the diaper work. No,
Was that Carlina and Taylor that were doing that?
yes, yes. Or Ori would do it too. He was good about that. I didn't like diapers.
Okay. And so you guys were all really close at that time period until they split. You said about 16 months old or a year and a half or so.
Yes.
And then did there come a time that Taylor moved home back to your house?
Yeah, right after that, she moved back home.
Okay. And was there a parenting time arrangement?
Yeah, her and Ori had a court deal and they had arrangements made where they both had like 50-50 visitation. But she exercised all her rights at our house the whole time.
Okay. And did you see Chloe a lot during that time
Yes.
period? Okay.
Yes.
And can you describe the love, affection, or other emotional ties that you had with Chloe at that time?
I mean, I love her dearly. What do you mean? Like,
Well, I mean, was there certain things you guys would do? Would she show affection to you?
oh yeah. We'd go outside and play. She'd ride her little she had a little gator, little remote, gator. She'd drive around the driveway and we go play on her swing set. I have a swing set in the backyard for her. She loved for Papa to push her on that all the time. She got a little Barbie house on my back porch. She'd want me to sit out there and play Barbies with her. Yeah. She was all about that.
Okay. And
She'd
would you
always
ever
say,
read
"Come on, Papa."
so would you ever read stories to her?
No, very rarely. I was always. I'd be early to bed, so Carlina would sit up and read stories. I'd pass out while they're playing around. I was always a early bird.
Did you see what Carlina did for Chloe at that time period?
Yes, yeah, they would.
Okay.
The same thing. They play Barbies in the bedroom and play dress up, makeup. They'd be taking bubble baths together. Or she would always want to make cupcakes with Nana, just stuff like that. Yeah, they were really close.
And was Carlina making sure that Chloe was getting to bed at a decent hour?
Yes, yes.
And was she ensuring the best that you understood? I mean, would she do any educational things with Chloe?
Yeah, they'd always be. They had like activity books. They'd work on those all the time, and they'd try to draw stuff and letters and words and stuff like that. She still got a bunch of those at the house.
And did all of that stuff continue up until November 23, except for that 6 or 7 month
Yes,
period you talked about?
yes.
Okay. So you guys, let me ask you this. Did you feel almost like a pseudo parent to Chloe with her being there all the time?
Yeah, kind of, because her mom was gone. So, but yeah, I kind of felt that way.
And during this whole time period, you felt like you had a very close bond with Chloe?
Oh, definitely.
And did she?
Yeah, she'd always come right up and grab me right by the neck and, "Papa, you're my best Papa. You love me, Papa. Give me some loves." And yeah, she would tell me that every time I see her.
And I'm going to focus on this last period, about a year and a half or so, or a couple years prior to 2023, November 2023. Did Chloe, well, let me ask you, were you around when Chloe had to go back home much?
Yeah, yeah. Because usually she'd go home on Sunday, so I was there when she'd go home.
Okay. And was she sad and depressed when she had to leave?
Yeah, quite often she would be. Yeah, I tell her, come on, honey, you gotta get your coat on, it's time to go home. She start fussing around, throwing a fit. Not every single time, but quite often.
Okay.
She didn't like it.
Okay. Would she cry sometimes?
Yeah. Did she tell me to call her dad? She, Papa, call my dad.
Objection,
I'm like, no, I
hearsay.
can't, honey.
Sustained. Mr. Morgan, you can't say what the child said. You can say what you
Oh,
observed, but you can't say what she said.
okay. Okay.
And so you guys were providing everything for her that a normal parent would to their own child.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so food, clothing, all the basic necessities, her furniture, toys.
Yes. She has a whole bedroom outfit at my house. So she has a whole setup.
Does she have her own bedroom at your place?
Yes.
So it wouldn't be accurate if someone else suggested it was really Carlina's bedroom.
No. Well, the Carlina will go in there and sleep sometimes because Carlina snores like a bear. And so I can't stand it. So she'll sometimes go in there and sleep so I can get sleep. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. But no, we share a bedroom together. But somehow she snores out of control. And I can't stand it.
If the court would give you grandparenting time, would you be willing to encourage a close relationship between Chloe and Ori?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's all I
And
want.
why?
That's all I want.
And why would you encourage a close relationship still between Chloe and her father?
Well, it's her father. I mean, they're supposed to have a good relationship. Or he's a good father. I've never said he's not. I give the guy that he's a great father for a young man for 3 kids. Or he's a great father. I've always said that. I respect Ori as a man, as a dad, everything. He's a good guy. I've always thought that. I just don't agree with this, but I mean, but he's a good guy and a good dad. I can't say that he's not.
Any history of physical, emotional, or sexual abuse or neglect of any child by you?
No, never.
Do you hold any hostility towards Mr. Cronkite, even though you don't agree with what he's doing here, that you do believe he's wrong in this situation?
I mean, yeah, I believe he's wrong, and it hurts me that he's keeping my granddaughter from me. But I don't want nothing bad to happen to him, or I don't have no, I don't have no hostile feelings towards him. I love the guy. I've always loved him. I still do. I still love him. I always love him. He's Chloe's dad. I don't want nothing bad to happen to that guy.
What was that last part? You
I
broke
said I
up.
don't want nothing to ever happen bad to him. I said I love Ori and I respect Ori and I don't ever wish nothing bad to happen to him ever.
So would Ori indicate ever to you whether or not you and Carlina were doing a good job with Chloe?
He'd say it occasionally, yeah, and he'd also say how he can't believe how much Chloe loves us, and yeah, he's never said nothing really bad like that either. He always said Chloe loves us a lot, and she loves coming to our house, and yeah.
So how often would he say that?
I mean, I don't know. He said it to me a few times, not like not like once a week or nothing, but he's told me a few times.
I mean, how close did you and him get?
Well, me and Ori were real close. I looked at him as a son. I care about the guy. He's like a best friend and a son. We spent a lot of time together. We worked together every day, and I thought we had a great bond.
Have you ever told Chloe that Ori is not her father?
No, no, sir. Never.
Was there ever a time many years ago that Taylor questioned whether or not Ori was the father?
Yes, I heard Taylor say that when Chloe was, first few months of her life, but it was just Taylor running off
And
at the mouth.
and how'd you respond to Taylor when you heard that?
I told her, I said, no, I said, Ori's your father, and don't ever say that again. I don't want to hear that. I always, from day one, I always thought Ori's her father. Ori is her father.
And have you ever heard Carlina say to anyone that Ori is not the father of Chloe?
No, no. Or Carlina loves Ori as her father, and even Ori's family. We've always, thought great of them. We've always cared about them. All of them. He's got a good family, and
Now, when Taylor made that comment many years ago, you said, so that must have been over 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Did Carlina say anything, or was Carlina around when she made that comment?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Just told her the same
Okay.
thing. You don't ever want to hear that again. Don't you ever say that. And it was just because Ori and her were fighting back then, and Taylor would, that's how she was. She started running her mouth, it's nonsense. Say stuff to hurt you.
Do you have any mental or physical health issues?
No,
Are you aware of any moral fitness issues that would impede your ability to be a good grandparent to Chloe or anyone else?
no.
Um, did you go to church with Chloe for a period of time?
Her and her Carlina and Carlina's mom would take her more than I went with her like once, but I couldn't go quite often. I'd be working or doing something else, so they take her more than I would ever go. Yeah.
I guess just so the court knows, I mean, was your relationship just a little bit different with Chloe than Carlina because you were working more?
Yes. Yes.
There, in about November of 23 or December of 23, did Ori confront you at your house about either things being said to Chloe or anything like that?
Yes.
Can you tell the court when that was?
It was in November. He come over one morning. We were heading to work, and he come in and started arguing with Carlina, telling her how she can't spoil Chloe no more, and this and that, and can't take her there, and it just snowballed into an argument between me and Ori. Then next thing you know, Ori quit working for me, and that's it.
Okay. Um, did you were you physical with Mr. Cronkite?
No, I had to, I grabbed him by his shirt. That was it. I didn't touch him. I didn't ever touch, hit him or smack him or nothing like that. Just because he wouldn't stop screaming in my face. But
So
I
when he
mean, we
was
didn't never
screaming
have
in your
no.
face, when he was screaming in your face, what was he saying?
He was telling me how much of a low life my daughter was. I just got tired of hearing it.
Well, I mean, what specifically was he saying?
He said that my daughter was a low life piece of shit and a drug addict, loser, and this and that. And then I said a few things, and yeah, that's what
And
happened.
what do you, okay. And then from that date forward, you have not seen Chloe.
No, no, that was the last time.
And how many have you reached out to him on more than one occasion to try to resolve
Yes.
any differences?
I tried working it out right, like within a few weeks after all this happened, early December, or, like within a couple, 2, 3 weeks, and he wasn't having it. Then also in the last couple months, I've also reached out to him, and just he wouldn't even respond this time. No response. Because that's what I said. I just replied. I said, Ori, can we just work this out? I just want to see Chloe. That's all I want to do is just see my granddaughter. I said, I don't want to have no problems with you or nothing. I just want to see my granddaughter. And no response. Won't even budge.
And so you want to bury any hatchet or any ill will that might be there, but it appears that Mr. Cronkite will not respond to you.
Yes. I mean, only had no hard feelings. I just want to move forward and see Chloe, and I don't have no hard feelings with him or nothing. I just want to be in Chloe's life and get along with Ori. It's her dad, and I just want to be part of their life.
And do you think it would be in Chloe's in her best emotional or psychological well-being for her to see you guys?
Yes. Yes, Chloe
And why do
loves
you
us.
say
I know
that?
she does. Because I can tell every time she's with us, the way she interacted with us, and it's genuine. She loves us. She would tell me all the time, Papa, you're my best Papa.
Objection, hearsay.
Dane,
And
She would walk in the house and grab me by my neck and hug me so tight. I'd be like, let go, honey, you're choking Papa, you're choking me. She would do that kind of stuff. Or
And
grab me by the hand and walk me out to the swing set all the time.
so Mr. Cronkite, up until that, I guess, blow up end of 2023, he never once indicated that you guys were doing anything inappropriate with or he never indicated to you that you were doing anything inappropriate with Chloe.
No, because the last couple of weeks he was working for me, I kind of got a sense that something was up. And I asked him on 2 or 3 different occasions. I said, Ori, is there anything you want to talk about? Is everything okay, buddy? Oh yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I said, you sure? And never once said anything. No indication or nothing. It's just like come out of nowhere. They come right out of nowhere. But I could sense it. It was coming. I could sense something wasn't right. The last 2, 3 weeks.
But he had always said that you guys were great grandparents
Yes.
and that you had a close bond with Chloe.
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
okay. Ms. Reed, any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Morgan, do you use Facebook?
Yes.
Do you recall posting on Facebook in February of this year, been 4 months saying, seeing my baby girl, just know I'm not letting this slide. When you play with fire, you get burnt.
Yeah.
And is that
Yeah.
directed to Ori?
Oh, I was mad and I posted, yeah, because I seen him prior to that and he was screaming at me and everything else. But yeah, since then I haven't even made no contact or nothing with him. I haven't even posted nothing like that.
And are you currently at Cindy and Don Plain's home?
No.
Objection to relevance, Your Honor.
Okay.
Why does it matter where he's at?
What's the relevance?
It's relevant in that Miss Toledo testified that she was just there with Mr. Morgan. And I saw someone poke their head in that it's definitely not Mr. Morgan. And I asked her who she was there with. So I'm going to ask Mr. Morgan who was present in the home with him.
Oh, nobody's here now. Carlene and myself.
Was Stephanie playing there?
No. No, my father was here earlier.
No further questions.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Bartel?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Morgan, that'll conclude your testimony. Thank you. You're free to go do whatever you want. So,
All right, thank you, sir.
Mr. Bartel, next witness.
I would call Cindy Plain.
Okay. Wait till she joins and then we'll get her sworn in. Okay, Ms. Plain, what we're going to do is ask that you would raise your right hand. We'll have you sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bartel, when you're ready.
Thank you. Can you state your name for the record, spelling your last?
Cindy Plain, Plane.
Do you know Chloe Cronkite?
I do.
And how do you know Chloe?
She is our great niece.
Okay,
On
when you
my
say
side.
on your husband's side, okay. Who is your husband?
Don Plain.
And do you know Kelsey Cronkite?
I do.
And how do you know Kelsey?
She's a niece on my husband's side.
Okay. So by marriage.
Correct.
And I guess for how long would you how often would you have interaction with Kelsey Cronkite?
Well, I had weekly family dinners on Sunday for a couple years. It's slacked off a little now, but it was weekly, every Sunday. And that would be our interaction.
And would Kelsey show up routinely, or how often would she show up?
I'd say a couple times a month. She'd bring the
Okay.
kids.
Now, when did that start approximately?
A couple years ago,
Okay.
I was doing weekly.
And when did that end with Kelsey and the kids?
Oh, end of March, beginning of May.
And you say kids, what kids would come over?
It would be, well, Juju, her deceased son, Giovanni, Uriah, and Chloe.
And when you say Chloe Cronkite?
Yes.
And would Ori come over?
Very seldom. Kelsey would always say he was working.
And so I guess I'm going to focus on prior to the end of November of 2023. How would you describe Chloe and I guess her demeanor before November 2023?
When she came to the house, she'd come right in, get hugs, bubbly. I have two other little nieces, and it was fun time for her. Everybody showed her love.
I mean, did she ever seem depressed or sad when she would come over prior
Never.
to
Never.
November?
No.
Okay. And so when they would come over for dinner, how long would the dinner or I guess gathering be?
Couple hours at least.
Okay. At one point, were you and Don close to Kelsey Cronkite?
We loved Kelsey. We still do.
Okay. And what did you consider yourself to be close to her?
I did. I thought she loved us too.
And so at some point your guys' relationship deteriorated?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
object to relevance.
Mr. Bartel?
Your Honor, I mean, I guess if you don't want to know why their relationship deteriorated, that's fine. But it's just, this is all foundational backdrop stuff, Your Honor. And with all due respect to opposing counsel, she only wants part of the story, and she doesn't want the testimony as to timelines and foundation.
Well, I'll allow her to testify that they did have a deterioration. If it goes to any issue that I guess you say in potential testimony, then I'll allow it, but I'm going to limit it to somewhat. I don't think it's relevant other than they had that deterioration.
So, Ms. Plain, did you have some, prior to November 2023, did you have interactions with Ori Cronkite?
Yes.
Okay. And did he ever indicate how he felt about Jamie Morgan and Carlina Toledo?
Yes. Several times. He commented how great they were to him and the kids. And he told me, because I found it amazing that Carolina and Jamie loved him so much. And I said something to Ori one time. I said, wow, that's really awesome that they love you so much. And he told me that Jamie was his best friend.
Did he ever indicate how much they did for Chloe and the other kids?
One time he drove in the driveway with a big old motorcycle. And I said, wow, where'd you get that? Jamie. That's what he told me.
So he got a motorcycle from Jamie. Did he ever indicate how much they did for Chloe or provided for Chloe?
Kelsey did more than
Okay.
Ori.
After November of 2023, did you see a change in Chloe when she would come over to your house?
I did. I talked to my husband about it. Before she'd just bust right in and hugs, and she seemed to be withdrawn after that. She would hesitate.
Did she seem sad or depressed?
Yes. I felt she was depressed. That she just held back where she didn't do that before. She would just bust in like the other kids. And I talked to my husband about it and told him she came up to me and put her arm around me, which it was sad. It wasn't a happy hug. It was a sad hug. And it hurt me.
Did you at any point have the opportunity to talk to Ori about this change that you've seen in Chloe?
No, because Kelsey and him started attacking my husband.
And so you
Kelsey-
guys, go ahead.
Kelsey had sent me a text message accusing my husband of being.
You object to hearsay?
Okay.
Actually, this is impeachment, Your Honor, since I already confronted Miss Cronkite on that and she denied this.
Ms. Reed, what's your response?
I would still say it's hearsay. It's
Well,
not necessarily impeachment.
well, obviously, if she denied that, then it's clearly impeachment. And so my recollection is that she did deny that, and so I'm going to allow it.
You can go forward, Miss Plank.
Kelsey, I had stayed out of everything at this point. Kelsey texted me and she was accusing my husband of the reason of her husband's drug addiction and going on that I didn't know the whole story about Carlina and Jamie. At that point, I returned the text. I told her that pretty much she opened it up and I was going to tell her how I felt. And I told her, my husband is no one's reason for addiction. And I explained that I felt the only ones mentally abusing Chloe was Ori and Kelsey. They took her away from grandparents that dearly loved her. And I had been at their home. And Chloe has a beautiful bedroom, like a little princess room. They have a lovely home. And I know they love her. So I told her I stand for Chloe. You adults, I don't know the exact words I said, but you adults need to take care of the adult stuff. Then Ori called me and left a message saying Aunt Cindy, Uncle Don's over at Carlina and Jamie selling drugs. Little did he know I was sitting right there next to my husband. And my husband was not there selling drugs. We were there having a barbecue. And that was the last conversation that ever came my way. I text both of them. And I tried to reason with them to please keep the adult issues with the adults. I told her, I said, every time those children walk through our door, they're loved. And to take that away from them, it's horrible. And the breakdown of these families is horrible. I do family dinners all the time to keep family together. And now it's just disintegrating. But I believe, Carlina and Jamie are wonderful grandparents, and they've helped Carlina or Kelsey and Ori a lot. They've both spoke of it.
So let me ask you a question. So when was the last time you did see Chloe?
It was the end of March. Don and I were in Florida for Easter. So we did it at the end of March. Kelsey texts me because I have a group family text with the ladies. She told me that she couldn't make it because she had a photo shoot to take pictures. And then she said, well, I can drop the kids off and I'll come back later after the photo shoot. And I said, great. Well, I was going to invite Carlina and Jamie over to see their granddaughter. It might not be right, but I was going to do this. But I wanted to know that Chloe wanted to see them. So I talked to Chloe.
So let me stop you right there. So you just said you were going to invite them over. You ultimately they weren't invited over.
Kelsey wasn't there.
And so you wanted to talk to Chloe?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure she did miss her grandparents and love them. And I was very animated with her when I talked to her. Chloe, guess what?
Okay, Ms. Plain, just to caution you at this point, you can't say what Chloe said. So
No, she didn't.
I'm just saying, it seems like you're building up to, you can say what you saw, what you observed, but not what she said.
I've already heard you.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
And I was very animated. And Chloe, I know Nana and Papa, and her face lit up. And I told her, I said, and Cindy's probably going to see them. And it was happiness on this child's face.
So you could tell a difference from what you had been seeing for the previous 4 months interaction with her, where she was sad and depressed or distant. And then when you told her that you knew Jamie and Carlina and that they miss her, she totally changed and lit up.
Her face lit up, her eyes. And which I can't say what she said, but it was pure happiness in that child.
Did she do anything else, like give you a hug or anything else?
Oh, I gave her a big hug, yes.
Did she hug you back?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Your Honor, I'm actually gonna ask that what Chloe said in response be allowed in for 2 reasons.
Okay.
An excited utterance or a present sense impression with regards to this matter, Your Honor. I think if Chloe I think either would work, Your Honor. It was clear by her facial expressions, and the court has testimony that I think more than can reasonably infer that Chloe was not the same after there's been a cutoff with her grandparents. She was sad, depressed. She was distant. She was different. And then she was told that that the grandparents love and miss her, and she then clearly lit up. And 803.3 says, then existing mental, emotional, or physical condition. A statement of the declarant's then existing state of mind, sensation, or physical condition, but not including a statement of memory or belief to prove the fact remembered or believed, is allowed. So I would ask that that be allowed, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Reed, what's your response?
I believe that this statement would fall under either of those, and it's clearly trying to offer proof of the matter asserted. Excited utterances made a statement made in response to a startling event. This is not a startling event. And it's not a present sense impression because it's not a statement that she's saying, oh, I'm happy, or I'm sad, or I'm sick, I'm upset, or anything like that. This is purely hearsay.
Okay. Well, Mr. Bartel, I think clearly, I don't think it falls under an excited utterance because of the requirements as to what that would require. And it obviously is a statement as to the events or whatever is transpiring at that point. The typical thing is, oh, you ran the red light, and okay, that'd be an excited utterance or something of that nature. I don't think this would qualify as that. I guess as to 8033 and then existing mental, emotional, or physical condition may apply, but again, under that, it says a statement of a declarant then existing state of mind, emotion, sensation, or physical condition such as intent, plan, motive, design, mental feeling, pain, or bodily health, but not including a statement of memory. If you can work it into one of that, it's existing state of mind, emotion, sensation, or physical condition. But I'm going to ask that you would lay the foundation first before you try to delve into what the statement was.
Okay. Ms. Plain, I guess I'll try to do the best I can, Your Honor. You had said Chloe made some verbal response back to you, correct?
Yes,
And was it a mental feeling that she had at that time?
yes,
And was it related to how you perceived her emotions in relation to knowing that her grandparents miss her and want to see her?
yes,
I think based upon that, Your Honor, I think that would satisfy with regards to that. And secondarily, Your Honor, I guess it's a little hard unless you hear what the statement was. And the court has the ability in a much better position than a jury to disregard it if for some reason the court believes that it would not fall within that exception.
Okay, Ms. Reed, what's your response?
I still don't believe that the statement, whatever it may be, is qualified as a present sense impression under the hearsay rule.
Well, he's not saying present sense impression. He was going under 8033, not
Yeah,
803.
I'm sorry.
The
Yeah.
existing mental state,
Yes.
I don't think it qualifies under a motive, intent, or a plan, or even an emotion.
Well, it goes
But
on more mental feeling. So,
pain,
right. So it obviously is difficult without knowing what the statement was.
and yeah, Your Honor, yes, if this was a jury trial, we'd probably present everything to you, and then you would make your determination knowing. That's why I suggested it can come in. I believe it is because it clearly falls within an emotion, sensation, a mental feeling.
Well,
But if for
what I'm
some
going to
reason
do,
the court
what I'm going
doesn't,
to do, Mr. Bartels, I'll let you elicit the statement, and I'll take it conditionally. If again, if it doesn't qualify under 8033, then I'm going to disregard that and strike it.
okay. Ms. Blaine, what statement did Chloe make back to you?
I said, Chloe and Cindy knows.
Hold on a second, would you?
No.
Jesus, would you mute Miss Morgan? Because I think that's where we're getting the feedback from.
Yes, hold on.
Okay.
There.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Plain.
I said, Chloe and Cindy knows Nana and Papa, and they miss you. And she said, you do? And I said, yeah, hon. And I'm probably going to go see them. Do you want me to tell them you miss them? And she said, yes. And then she asked me if she could go with me to see them.
Okay. Well, I think that, again, I think it would fall with under 8033 going to a mental feeling because she says, I miss them. So the court will take it for that purpose.
So one other area I want to ask you, Ms. Plain, is did Kelsey ever, I guess, denigrate or bash Miss Morgan in front of Chloe and the other kids?
We have our family dinners in, it's like a Four Seasons room, and all the children's toys are in there. I'm pretty much back and forth cooking and stuff. And I went in and she was talking to some other members of the family saying how Chloe is being abused by Carlene and Jamie, mentally abused, and telling her that her mother's going to be home soon. And Kelsey's stating that she's not going to be home for 10 years. And at this point, I had to leave the room because I felt it was wrong. She never filters in front of the children. And I feel they pick up more than people think.
And when you say she doesn't filter, what do you mean?
She says whatever she wants in front of the kids.
Including swear words?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Is that pretty regular?
I have a niece that will not come to our family dinner if Kelsey is there now because of what she witnessed Kelsey talking to the children, the way she was acting.
So she would involve adult conversations in front of the minor children?
Yes. They would be playing in the Four Seasons room.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Reed, any cross?
Got no questions for this witness.
Okay. Ms. Plain, that will conclude your testimony. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Could we take a 2-minute break, Your Honor?
Well, I'll give you more. I'll give you 5 minutes if you need that.
Okay.
We're back on the record.
Okay. Next witness, Mr. Bartel.
Thank you, Don Plain.
Okay.
Was he on the same device as?
Yes.
Cindy, yes.
Hold on, I do not see the. Okay, here we go.
Ms. Plain, I see you're back. Is your husband going to come on at this point?
Yes.
Okay. Have him come in.
Don?
Hello.
Hello. Mr. Plain, we're going to take some testimony from you. If you would raise your right hand, we'll have you sworn in, then we'll proceed.
Okay.
Do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Bartel.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the record, spelling your last?
Donald Plain, Plane.
Okay. Do you know Chloe Cronkite?
Yes.
And how do you know her?
She is my great niece's stepdaughter,
Okay. And who is your great niece?
Kelsey Cronkite.
And did you see Chloe, I guess, or have interactions with her on more than one occasion?
Oh, many.
Okay.
Family dinners.
How often? Family dinners. Family dinners. How often would you see her in general?
A couple times a month for a couple of years.
And so you were usually around family dinners. Were there any other times that you would see her too?
Birthday party once. And then, of course, during the tragedy. And other than that, that was pretty much it. Family dinners on Sundays, and then again, the tragedy a couple of times.
Okay. And who would bring Chloe over to your
Usually,
house?
usually Kelsey. Ori would
Was
make,
Ori there?
he'd make it once in a while. When we first started them, my wife started them 2.5 years ago, a little over 2 years ago anyway. He would come once a month, maybe once in a great while. They'd stop in another time. If he'd make it once, then another time. A couple of weeks later, he might come in later in the afternoon. Most of the time, it was Kelsey.
Okay. How would you describe Chloe prior to the end of November 2023? Like, how would you describe her? Was she bubbly? Was she outgoing? Was she?
Yeah, she was pretty good. She was good. Yeah. Family, kids are all here having a good time, and she was real sweet. The couple of the kids would come run and jump up in my lap sometimes on the easy chair, giggle a little bit, and hug and just talk, have little conversations. They were pretty smart little kids.
Did there come a time when Chloe's demeanor changed?
I noticed some. Yeah.
And when was that?
I'd say that last fall that it was, I don't know, maybe, I think that early in the year, this year, when we would have family dinners again, they made it a couple of more times. There was some, it seems like more reserved.
Okay. Did she seem sad or depressed?
Quiet, a little different than normal. She would usually come up to me and, or I would go to them because, they're children, and not quite as receiving.
So something was off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, excuse me. Yes.
At some point was, I guess, this family dinner that include Kelsey and Chloe, did that stop?
Yeah, they quit coming.
And when was that about?
Well, right near March, and mid to end of March.
So did you ever see Chloe around Jamie or Carlina prior to the end of November 2023 when their relationship kind of ended?
I've seen them around, yeah, a little bit, yeah. More when I would see Jamie and Ori, and
So
see the kids come and see them at the work site. They did some work for me, and so we became close. And I would go and look at their jobs every now and then. The kids would come and say hi to their dad and grandpa.
And did Ori ever indicate anything to you about Jamie and Carlina and how they were as grandparents to Chloe?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Would always be, Jamie loved him. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, they were real loving and so it's just sad. I'm sorry. I'm just breaking down a little bit. It bothers me. They were loving, very loving to him, and the kids were when they would see Papa, especially in the Papa, all of the kids, and well, that's what I observed anyway.
I guess my question is, did Ori ever indicate to you as to how Jamie and Carlina were as grandparents
Yeah,
to Chloe?
loved them. How great they were. How much they helped them and how they took care of them. That he had a lot of respect and love for him, and that was like a brother, and we were like that.
Anything else that Ori would say about Jamie and Carlina that you can recall?
No.
Was it pretty clear that they all got along?
Yeah, very well. Yeah, that was always always seemed very happy time, close, all of a sudden.
I guess after November 23, or I think you said the beginning of 2024, Chloe seemed different.
Yeah.
Did you ever address that with anyone?
Just with my wife.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked about all of it.
And with regards to Kelsey, was she ever inappropriate in front of the kids? I guess with things she would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And without saying the specifics, I mean, generally, would she swear a lot?
Foul mouth.
Okay. Did she ever bash or denigrate Taylor Morgan in front of Chloe or the other kids?
No.
Okay. Was she very controlling?
Much.
I'm sorry?
Very much.
In which way?
That it's better to pay attention. There's raise voice, take control by the power voice and being blunt. Never. I don't think I ever saw a cuss right at them, but it's in front of them. So it was never at the child specifically. It was just, lots of different conversation going on. And anyway, it's just a situation where the children, we really wish it wouldn't happen. And quite often we would shush it. My wife and I don't put up with it. And we'd have to put a damper on it.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. Miss Reed, any cross?
Briefly, Mr. Plain, can you hear me?
Yes.
when we're talking about these conversations that are happening in front of the kids, are the kids like playing in a separate room and might overhear the conversations, or are the kids like in with the adults and adults are talking?
They would still be in with us. It would be right at the end of dinner time, maybe, or midterm, and then, you know, close to the end of dinner.
Okay, but when Kelsey's talking, is she talking to the adults about things?
Yes.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Okay. I do, just to clarify, if I could, Mr. Plain, as you talked about Chloe, that her demeanor changed, and then you said she was different. You mentioned that she was quiet and not as receiving.
Yeah.
Anything else? Because those are kind of nebulous. I mean, quiet, obviously, and not as receiving are pretty nebulous. So anything else that you notice as far as difference in Chloe?
She just wasn't as responsive as she had been previously, for months or longer. You know, we were close. Even children. I'm drawn to children. They're drawn to me. We're close. I love my family, and these little children are a delight. And so it would always be. I would hope that I was aware of how they would be. You know, they got in trouble on the way here in the car or something. But this was just a difference. You know, not as happy as always as usual, and you know, I would say, "Hey, how you doing?" And she's okay, just fine.
Objection, hearsay.
That'd be
Yeah, you can't say what she said, but you can say what you observed.
Yeah, I observed her to not be as responsive.
Well, you say responsive, but then you say not as happy. So
yeah, not as outgoing, not as trusting. I think it's hard to put a finger on it when somebody has a more of a quiet demeanor.
okay, that's all I had, Mr. Bartel. Anything else you have?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, Miss Reed, anything?
No.
Okay. Sir, that will conclude your testimony. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank you. You also are, Your Honor. Thank you.
Next witness, Mr. Bartel.
Sorry. I'm going to call Alyssa Toledo.
Okay.
What was the name again?
Elizabeth Toledo.
Hold on. I have two iPhones that are not named here. I have an Andrea Toledo. Are they related?
They are sisters.
But it's not the right one right now.
Hold on.
It's always hard when somebody doesn't follow the first rule that says re-identify yourself so that we know who you are.
The message wasn't, or I couldn't message anybody, but I'm not able to see myself on here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
What's your name, ma'am?
Alyssa Toledo.
Oh,
Listen.
Yes. I tried, it wouldn't let me message, like the option was not available.
Well, you basically just have to go into your settings and allow the video to run, and that's probably.
I was just waiting. I didn't. It was a different screen for some reason. Sorry.
Well, okay. Now you're present with us.
Well,
okay.
Thank you.
What?
Oh, never mind. I thought that was the sister. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is Alyssa.
Okay. Ms. Toledo, if you would raise your right hand, we'll have you sworn, and then we'll take some testimony.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bartel.
Thank you. Can you state your name for the record and spelling your last name?
Alyssa Toledo, Toledo.
And do you know Chloe Cronkite?
Yes.
And how do you know her?
That's my cousin.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you're related to Taylor Morgan?
Yes.
And who is she to you?
My cousin. My first
Okay.
cousin.
First cousin.
Yes.
And just so I understand, Carlina Toledo how is she related to you?
She's my aunt. That's my dad's sister.
And what was the first, how long have you known Chloe?
Since she was born, I've been in her life.
And how often would you see her?
I would
Approximately.
like she would come over like since Taylor was incarcerated or since birth. I've seen her like every time she comes over and visited. Like I would see her like it would be like once a week when Taylor was out, and then because she was over at my aunt's all the time, so I'd come see her there and play with her and stuff.
Okay, so you would go see her over at Carlina and Jamie's?
Yes.
Okay. And how long were these visits usually?
They would be a few hours.
And would you interact with Chloe?
Yes. We would play.
And you would play, okay.
Yeah.
And would you see her interactions with Carlina and Jamie?
Yes.
I guess could you just in general describe those interactions?
Yeah, she would cook with my aunt, like bake cookies, and she would always run in their room, and she had a little play area set up in their room, and she would watch the tablet with them. Like they watch little movies on there together, like YouTube, and she would always like show her like all the stuff to us, like the YouTube videos she'd watch and like laugh with us about it. And she had like the Barbies in there, and they would play with her down there with the Barbies, and she would just always follow my aunt around. She would be like, "Nana, I want Nana," every time I was.
Objection, hearsay.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey, Ms.
sorry.
Toledo, you can't say what the child said. You can say what you observed, but not what she says.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay. So she would play with the toys with her, like Barbies, so would I. And she would just follow her around, and then my aunt would always do her hair and stuff like that.
Was Chloe ever apprehensive or afraid of her grandparents?
No, never.
How would you describe the relationship?
It was really close relationship. She would sit on my aunt's lap all the time, and she would take naps with my Uncle Jamie.
Would she show love and affection towards her grandparents?
Yes, she would always hug and kiss them. She would always run up to them and tell them hug and kiss them.
Were you ever around when it was time for her to go back home to her father?
Yeah.
And could you describe, was there, how would she receive that, or how would she act when she would have to go home?
She would sort of throw a tantrum. She would just be like really uneasy and unhappy about the situation. She just wanted to stay. Like she didn't want to go.
Would her demeanor change?
Yes.
Okay. In which way would it change?
Well, she would like hold on to them and she would just cry.
Um, would you, anything else you would do with her other than, I guess you said it was about once a week or so that you would go over there for a couple hours and play with her and stuff? Did you do anything else with her or see any other interactions with her and the family?
Yes, we would go to Chuck E. Cheese together, and we went out to eat several times, and also we went shopping on multiple occasions, and also to McDonald's, to the playland there, and would eat.
Would you ever see Carlina or Jamie be physical towards Chloe?
No, I never have seen that.
And did you ever see anything inappropriate, at least that you saw, from Jamie or Carlina towards Chloe?
No, sir, never.
Hey, did you ever hear Carlina or Jamie ever tell Chloe that Ori is not her father?
No, never.
Did you ever hear Carlina or Jamie bad mouthing Ori in front of Chloe?
No, never. They always got along for the most part.
Until November 2023?
Yes.
Were there times that Ori would come and hang out with all of you and you would be around to see that interaction?
Yes, sir.
And I mean, I guess how would Ori be towards Jamie and Carlina during those interactions?
They would be laughing and talking, just normal.
Did they seem really close, especially Jamie and Ori?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And did you know who did or witness who did I guess, laundry and cooking and cleaning for Chloe?
Yes, my Aunt Carlina did.
Okay. And did Chloe have her own bedroom at
Yeah.
their house?
Yes, it was a nice room too. She had her own big bed and closet full of clothes and shoes and toys, just everything in there.
And that was her bedroom?
Yes, sir.
And was she having to share that with anyone else?
No, sir.
Did you have an occasion to see Chloe recently at a dance recital?
Yes, sir.
And when was that?
That was it was like a couple months ago.
Okay. During the summer sometime?
Yes.
And where was that at?
It was at a school, in Marshall. I'm not sure the school's name, but yeah.
And so what was this recital? So it's a dance recital?
Yes. It was her first recital. And me and my grandma and my sister went.
And can you tell the court what if anything Ori was doing that seemed odd there?
Yes. So we were there for
Object to relevance.
Okay, Mr.
Well,
Patel.
Well, Your Honor, I mean, if you'd be willing to give me some leeway as to, I guess, how Ori and his actions trying to cut off the minor child from even seeing family in a public setting and such, I think it still goes to all the factors, Your Honor.
Okay, I think it's obviously, I'll allow it because it does address various factors under the best interest, but again, so I'll allow it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You can go forward with your testimony.
Okay. So we were there for about 3 hours, and we were waiting for Chloe, and she was towards the end of the recital. And so when we were sitting there, we had like front row seat. Well, we moved to the front because the first half of the recital was done. She was the second half, part of the second half. So there was rows available, like the front rows. So Ori and his son went to the front in the middle, like into the front of the stage, and I was like just looking for Chloe, and I was trying to like, you know, wave for her to see. Well, he was like standing there trying to, you know, make sure she didn't look over. It seemed to me like, because he was
Objection,
just
speculation.
I'll sustain it.
Okay, so let me ask you.
Unless he did some activity that would show that, but it does think
Okay.
speculation if she's just assuming that that's what he was doing.
Well, let me ask you this, Ms. Toledo. Did you ever make eye contact with Ori?
Yes.
Okay, so he saw you sitting there.
Yes, he did.
Okay, and where was he sitting originally?
They were a couple rows behind us.
Now, I want to clarify, couple rows behind you when you got up and went to the front, or originally?
Originally.
Okay, so you said you got up and went to the front row or towards the front.
Yes.
Is that the time that he got up as well?
No, it was when he noticed that she started doing her dance. It was like he moved up. Well, I didn't really notice when. That's the thing. I didn't notice right when he went up there because I was looking for Chloe, and then all of a sudden I seen him and the baby standing there, and it was after like she started because I was looking for her so I could get her attention.
So what was he doing? Was he standing right in the front of the, I guess, is this an auditorium?
Yes, and he was the only parent doing that.
Everyone else is sitting or behind, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so he's just standing up there. And was your view obstructed by him?
Yes, somewhat, because
Okay.
he was standing there in the middle.
Okay. And I guess after that, you watched, I guess, the recital
Yes.
the best you could. Okay. And then what happened at the conclusion of the recital of the dance?
So, like afterwards, after she was done,
Yes.
so after she was done, we were like, okay, she's done, and we wanted to tell her how good she did and stuff. So, and let her know that we were there because she didn't obviously see us there. So we went to exit the doors like everybody else, and so there was Ori's dad Bill standing there at the doors, and he was guarding it, and he was looking.
Objection, speculation.
Maybe lay a foundation, Mr. Bartel.
So when you said Bill the father was guarding it, so can you describe how Bill was acting, like how his position was by the door?
Yeah, he was holding it open, and then he said, there's
Well,
something coming
Objection, hearsay.
Yeah, you can't say what somebody else said.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Your Honor. So he was just standing there looking angry. So he was looking intimidating to me. And my sister was scared to go through the door. So.
And so did you continue to at least try to say hi to Chloe or see her despite that?
Yes, sir. So.
Okay, and then where did you go after that? Or what happened next?
So there's a hall to the left, and there's a bathroom. And my sister had to use the bathroom. And so I was like, okay. So I waited for my sister, and that's where Chloe would be coming out. Well, Ori went to the back to grab her and Bill. And so as they were coming back down, Ori had her in his arms, holding her like she was a 2-year-old baby. And like she couldn't walk. And her head was looking straight back. She was not moving her head around, made sure her head was towards the wall and would not look around. And I was trying to talk to her. I was like, "Hi, Chloe, I love you." And she would not look around and address me at all.
Was Ori doing anything that you could tell obstructing or prohibiting her from moving around?
Yeah, he was holding her like a baby with his hand like behind her head. So it just,
So it looked like to you that she couldn't move her head based upon where his hand was positioned.
yes, sir.
And at some point, did Mr. Cronkite say anything to you?
Yes. So he proceeded to walk out the double doors after that, which is leading to the exit. So my sister came out the bathroom, and so we're walking towards as well. Well, I started walking because she was waiting for my grandma. And so I'm walking towards, and I was trying to tell Chloe how good she did and that I loved her. And that's when Ori said, "This is weird," and said a cuss word. And I said, "Well, what's weird?" And he was like, "That you're walking right next to me." And I said, "I'm just trying to tell Chloe that I love her and that she did good. And I'm leaving as well. I'm walking with the crowd. And I didn't see no wrongdoing. I'm just telling her that I loved her and that she did great." And then that's when Tammy was like, because he put her next to like in the middle of them in the group of the family. And that's when Tammy was like, "Tell her I love you."
Jackson, hearsay.
Oh, sorry.
Abstain.
I'm sorry. And so we just proceeded to walk out the doors after that, and then we left.
Well, to the best of your impression, did she seem the same as what you saw of her prior to November of 23? Like her demeanor?
No, she seemed like nervous and scared to me.
Did she seem apprehensive of you?
She just seemed like she had to act like I was a stranger, which was very offensive because I just seen her at Walmart. So that wasn't the case because I'm not sure, we haven't got that far, but she ran up to me, gave me a hug.
We'll get there in a second.
Yeah, so right. So I was just like, offended because I'm like, she knows me, so I'm like, this is odd behavior. This is not normal behavior. This seemed coerced.
Objection, speculation.
Well, she's just describing her feelings as to how I think we all can see someone and their actions, and she's describing her feelings of how it felt. And obviously the court can parse through that as to what weight it wants to give it, but she's giving her what she's seen and what she feels is the case.
Well, if she can identify particular characteristics or things that happen, but I think otherwise, it's just a projection. So I'm going to.
Well, that's her feeling projection, I guess, in the moment.
Okay. Well, I'm sustaining the objection.
Okay. So, Ms. Toledo, did you see Chloe also previous to that a dance recital?
Yes.
And about how long before then?
That would have been about, I would say, just a couple months before that, literally.
Okay. And where did you see her?
At Walmart.
Okay, so you were shopping at Walmart?
Yes, sir.
And what Walmart were you at?
The one on Beckley Road.
And where in Walmart were you at when you saw her?
I was in the candle aisle. The wax
Okay.
smell was like kind of, it wasn't the end aisle, it was the second aisle. So
Okay. And who was she with there?
she was with Tammy.
And who is Tammy?
That's her grandma.
And just so we're clear, is that Ori's mother?
Yes, Ori's mother.
Okay. And so you saw Chloe. Did Chloe see you?
Yes, she did.
And when she saw you, what happened?
She ran up to me and jumped and gave me a big hug and a kiss, and she said, "I miss you, TT."
And then at some point, did Tammy come and get Chloe?
So actually Tammy seen me first. Well, I seen Tammy. We both locked eyes and I said, "Hi, Tammy." And because I noticed that she was with somebody. And I was like hoping it was Chloe. So that's when Chloe heard my voice, and that's when she ran up to me. She ran up to me and said, "Hi, TT." Oh my gosh.
Objection,
Hi, TT.
hearsay.
And gave me a hug.
Well, all I can say is that, Mr. Bartel, what's your response?
Well, there's two. I mean, she didn't object to the first one. Second, she was clearly running, excited, and I think this does still fall under 803.3. Then existing mental, emotional, and physical condition. That's kind of the stereotypical, I think, example.
Well, I don't think it's, I guess you say, definitive or dispositive in any regard. So I'll sustain the objection because we'd already heard her reaction previously.
Thank you. You're
Okay. So after that, did Tammy take Chloe, I guess, in a different direction, or I guess how did that play out?
Yes, they then just went their separate ways. We just went our separate ways. Well, she told me, she was like, "Yeah, Chloe's birthday's coming up," and stuff like that.
Well,
And
you
I was
can't
like, "Oh,
talk about
okay."
that's hearsay.
And
Yeah,
can't-
you can't say
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
what somebody else said, regardless of who they are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, then we just went our separate ways after that. Then just to wrap that up. That was
Okay.
about it then.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess just to wrap this up, was it evident that Chloe had a very close bond and loving relationship with her grandparents?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And why do you say that?
Because she just always wanted to be over there at their house and around all of us, and she loved doing stuff, and she would even go to my aunt's salon with her, and when she would work sometimes, and she just was always excited to be there.
And Jamie and Carlina provided, at least for that year and a half, 2 years leading up to November of 23, provided money and support for Chloe.
Yes, sir.
And would they put her interests before their own interests?
Yes, sir.
And no further questions, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Reed, any cross-examination?
Yes, Miss Toledo, when you were calling up to Chloe saying, "I love you and I miss you," were you telling her that you would see her soon?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Anything else as a result of that, Mr. Bartel?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Toledo. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for your time, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next witness, Mr. Bartel.
I am going to call Andrea Toledo.
Okay.
I lost her. Can you hear us, ma'am?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Ms. Toledo, we're going to take some testimony from you, so I'll need to have you raise your right hand, be sworn in, and then we'll proceed.
Okay.
Find a place that you can sit down so we don't get any other issues. Plus, I can't stand to watch that because I get motion sickness, so people move around.
I didn't want to get sick either, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goodness.
Please raise your right hand, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you were about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Bartel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you state your full name and spell your last for the record?
Andrea Toledo, Toledo.
And do you know Chloe Crockett?
Yes, that's
And
it's my cousin.
Okay. And so Taylor Morgan is your first cousin,
Yes.
and that is her daughter.
Yeah.
And did you have how often would you see Chloe?
Whenever that my aunt Carlina and Uncle Jamie would have Chloe, I would see her probably about 2 to 3 times a week because I would ask my grandma Gloria if I could go and see Chloe because I missed her and I would like spending time with her when my aunt and uncle would have her.
And would that go on for a number of years?
I would say, yeah, for about 4 or 5 years. 4.
Okay. And does that include the time period when there was alternating parenting time between Ori and Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. So you have seen her quite often.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And did you see Jamie and Carlina interact with her?
Yes, I did.
I guess, can you just give me a general description of how their interactions were?
When Kelsey would drop Chloe off, she loved me. She would run up to me, but also she would just run up and where is Nana and Papa? And just
Objection, hearsay.
All right, Carlina, you
Sustain.
you cannot say what other people said, just what you witnessed.
Okay, so when Chloe, sometimes I would already be there because I knew that Chloe was coming over. So I would already be there at the house waiting, with my grandma because I don't have a car. And Chloe would instantly just run to Aunt Carlina and Uncle Jamie's room.
So I guess walk me through. Would Carlina and Jamie provide financially? Did you witness that for Chloe?
Yes, we would go to TJ Maxx together, me, Chloe, and my aunt. We would all 3 go to TJ Maxx together. They would get her stuff, toys, and she would bake.
Would she cook for her?
Yes.
Okay. Did she do the cleaning and her laundry?
Yes, she even bought a little play set for Chloe, and Chloe would always want to help her clean. I might have to go one side. She bought her a little play set with a mop and everything, so that they could all clean together. And she would be, no, I want to help you clean.
Okay, Ms. Toledo, you can't say what she says.
Okay. All right.
Would you ever see Carlina or Jamie bathe? I mean, did Carlina make sure that she was appropriately bathed?
Yes.
Okay. So would Carlina do that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever see Carlina or Jamie engage with educational activities with Chloe?
Yes. She would read books with her and play dolls with her, and they would lay on the love seat together and cuddle. And when Chloe was there, as soon as her papa, Uncle Jamie, got home, and he would lay on and Chloe would just run on him and dump on him and lay on the floor with him.
She openly show signs of affection to both of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In which way?
She would love on them, hug them, and she would wrap her little arms around their neck. And she was like, I want not.
Hey, you can't
Objection.
speak.
You cannot say what the child says. So I know it's difficult to do, but just understand that you can't do that.
Okay. Sorry.
But she was very touchy, feely, and just constantly around them and wanting to hug and all that stuff. Correct? I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
And did she have a close bond to both of them?
Oh, yeah.
And how do you know that?
Well, for the past 2 to 3 years, she was over there often, and I would see the reaction that she would have with them by, how much she would go out with them, out to eat, and the way that she loved on them. And she would always run with her Nana to the kitchen. And if Uncle Jamie wasn't home, and as soon as Uncle Jamie got home, she would run to him, and then she'd giggle and laugh and come back to me. And it just looked, the look on her face, and she'd be like, just laughing, giggling, running back and forth to all three of us.
Did you ever see Jamie or Carlina ever abuse Chloe?
No, never.
If she ever got disciplined, do you know what discipline it was? Do you ever witness any discipline?
No, not at all.
Okay.
If anything, it would be, like maybe a timeout for 2 minutes.
Okay. Was there at any point that you hear Jamie or Carlina bashing Ori or Kelsey in front of Chloe?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you ever hear Jamie or Carlina bashing or talking negatively about Ori or Kelsey in front of Chloe?
Never.
Okay. And so were there times that you were around and you would see Kelsey come pick up Chloe?
Yes.
How would you describe Chloe's reaction or demeanor? Would it change?
Oh, yeah.
Could you describe it to the court without any hearsay or what she said?
So she would be loving on me and, on Nana and Papa, Uncle Jamie, Carlina. And as soon as we would tell her, that they're here, Kelsey was there, she would, I would say, bye, TP loves you. And she
Objection.
wouldn't.
Who is saying that? I'm sorry, you're really hard to hear.
I think she was saying what she was telling the
Yeah,
Okay.
she was.
So
You can go ahead.
I would tell her, bye, TT loves you, and then she wouldn't even look at me or turn back at me as soon as she was at the door with Kelsey.
And so Kelsey was already in the room.
yeah, she would be at the front door of my Aunt Carlina and Uncle Jamie's, and her whole demeanor changed. But before that, she would be crying on the floor, I remember, and just she would bang her little hand and just cry, cry, cry. And because,
Was it pretty evident she didn't want to go back home?
yes,
And did that happen often?
yes, almost every other week that she was there, yes.
Did you ever see verbal abuse towards Chloe by Carlina or Jamie?
No, never.
Have you ever seen Carlina or Jamie um, be physical or sexually abuse any of their children?
No, never.
To the best of your, I guess, would you see interactions between Ori and Carlina and Jamie before November 2023?
Yes.
I mean, how would you describe those interactions?
Um, they all got along. They would laugh, and he would be in the room, or he would be in there laughing, and every day we're all just getting along, and Chloe was in the room and everything. I mean, it was fine. Everything was fine.
And um, did you see anything that by Carlina or Jamie where they were not encouraging a close relationship between Chloe and Ori?
Um, no.
So they essentially didn't interfere with Ori in general. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Were Carlina or Jamie really ever hostile towards Ori that you could see?
No, never. They always got along great.
Until November or December of 23?
Yes, and me and my grandma both at the same time tried to see Chloe in November, and because I was gonna leave to go to Florida, so I was like, Grandma, can you please see if we can see Chloe? And because I didn't want to contact them, I wanted my grandma to. So um we tried and tried, and you know my grandma was my rides to see her as well. So when we tried, he gave us a time, 5:30. He said it was okay for me and my grandma both to see her. And then when it came time, it there was nothing. There was no reply, no anything, and it was just it came up with excuses, or nothing happened at all. No response.
Yeah. And have you ever seen any domestic violence between Carlina and Jamie?
No, never.
And are you aware of any mental or physical health issues of either of them that would prevent them from being a good grandparent to Chloe?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss Reed, any cross?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Toledo. That will conclude your testimony. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Well, at this point, I see it's approximately 25 to 5, so we'll probably end now at this point, only because I do have to have staff out before 4:45.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've just, some of the other judges may not mention that we're instructed that we have to have staff out of the building by 4:45. So, I mean,
remember
there's
the old
obviously,
days? You'd be there till 6.
well, I won't tell you. I had a couple trials in Kalamazoo with Carol McKenzie, actually, and one we were there until 1:30 a.m.
Oh,
on
no.
a Friday night, and the same on a Saturday night when they had us come in. No, I'm sorry, Friday night and then Monday night. The trials went both those days until 1:30 a.m. In fact, the judge always would let us go about 10:30 because we had to move our cars out of the city parking garage because they closed at 11. So latest trials I ever had.
Hey, I'm willing to bring back night court. I just don't think many other people are.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, so
Okay.
some of the other judges may embrace it, but that's fine. I see it was mentioned that we have a continuation on October 1st. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, just to have an idea, Mr. Bartel, how many more witnesses do you have?
I think I got 3 total.
Okay,
know
I
had
wasn't counting,
4.
so I didn't know how many we had.
Well, there's at least 3 or 4. I'm not going to call that ahead on my witness list, but there's 3, and 2 of them should be relatively short.
Okay.
And then Dr. Haugen will be the longest one for me.
Okay. And Miss Reed, how many are you going to have at this point? Do you know? Approximately. I'm not holding you to it. I'm just trying to get an idea.
I think about 4, and if Dr. Haugen's testifying next time, I would request that he provide me any sort of like reports he's generated, any sort of underlying facts under Daubert.
Okay. Mr. Bartel, do you know, has he prepared a report or?
He hasn't, and I don't think he has to prepare a report for her.
She's just asking.
Okay.
She said if one's been prepared, I'd like.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's in and out. So, no, he has not prepared a report.
Okay. Well, if he does, and he provides that to you, make sure that gets to Miss Reed. And if you have to fax it to her, then do it that way. I don't want it going through the mail as have the issues we had last time. So
I will do that, but I don't expect a report. But I will do that if I can go.
Okay. Well, we'll adjourn. I'll probably have staff call you next week and try to get another date, just in the event that we don't end on October 1st, because we're right now we're scheduling out in December because we're so backed up, and we've got a lot that are double booked and some even triple booked days. So I want to get you on the calendar because I want to get this matter resolved.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we will let you go. Both have a wonderful evening.
All right. Thank you. You too.